Greetings, Productive Programmer. I am so excited to have you in this course. I can't wait to share all of this information with you. I think that you're going to find this to be a highly valuable, highly condensed course. This is Productive Programmer, Productive Career. So let's begin. First of all, turn off and mute your phone to remove all distractions. Commit 100% to this first lesson. Pause the video if you need to eliminate any distractions. This course is going to focus on increasing your productivity, skill set, income, and self-satisfaction, both personally and professionally. Our promise is that this is a productivity course and that should be quick. You don't want to buy a productivity course that takes 20 years to learn, right? That makes zero sense. So this is going to be a productive course in productivity. Each lesson should instantly improve your productivity. Each lesson will provide actionable steps for you to increase your financial wealth and personal satisfaction. And the rest is on you. You have to follow through. You have to take action. That's the only thing I cannot do for you. A bad plan acted upon is better than a great plan never implemented. I feel like that's something that a famous person said. I just came up with it. But somebody famous probably did say it. I might have heard that somewhere else. We'll give you a great plan, but you need to take action. So that's on you. But yeah, we're going to give you a great plan. You have to take the action though. So a couple of productivity misconceptions. First of all, this is not about working more hours. It's not about squeezing every single minute out of your day. It's not about sleeping less. In fact, an interesting quote that I saw is that Einstein actually slept 1.5 times more than the average American. I thought that was really interesting. This is also not about multitasking, okay? Task switching is one of the worst things you could possibly do. Your phone buzzing, beeping, checking your phone, jumping between Slack notifications from your coworkers, having to run to meetings and go back to coding, all that stuff. Multitasking is one of the worst things in the world. So more busy work will just lead to burnout. It's not going to lead to productivity. And so in this course, I want to eliminate all that. All of the BS that's out there and these other productivity things that you come across. I just want to work more quality hours than quantity. You're actually going to explore how to work less hours and be more productivity. Work less hours and be more productive. But first, what is productivity? I want to show you what productivity means to me and what productivity means in the sense of an economy, micro, macro. This is what productivity really is. Here at the bottom is you. And you work for some company. Here's your employer. And you are a gear in the machine. You are driving this business. But there are people in your company that are more productive than you. That doesn't necessarily, I'm not trying to put you in a pecking order. If you join a new company, generally you will be at the bottom, even if you are a pretty productive person in most parts of your life, because you need to learn the software, you need to learn the documentation, you need to learn how the business model works. If you never worked in insurance before, you never worked in some sort of other industry in law enforcement, you need to learn the domain first, right? So you are only so productive. And if somebody's more productive than you, they get the bigger income. That's what these gears represent, right? Somebody that's more productive than you is going to get paid more. That's why you work at a company longer, you get paid more money, you know the domain better, you're more productive, you support those under you. It's very common. And that all drives the employer. Why is the employer at the top? The employer is producing for other companies, other clients. They're more productive. As a whole, they're more productive. They're producing more things. Productivity is a chain. And those that are more productive get the more money. And so the goal in this course is for you to become more productive, for you to come up the chain, for you to be a bigger gear driving the business. That way you get more money and you're more successful. And when you're more productive, you can actually start a side hustle on the side potentially if you want to go this route. This is just to show you what being more productive can mean. You could obviously continue to grow your gear and drive more employees and work further up in the company if you wanted to, but you can also start a side hustle. If you're productive enough, you can rise up the chain at your employer and also, on the side, couple hours a week, drive a side hustle. And what's interesting about that is this is how the economy works. This is what productivity really is. If you want it, you can also fire your employer, right? And then your company that used to be your side hustle your side hustle can now become your company. So you can actually get rid of your employer, right? Your employer that you were driving before. If you start something, you're productive enough and you start a side hustle on the side, you can eventually make that a full-time gig. And this is what I want for you if you want it. If you want this is productivity if you want it. If you want to stay with your company and just make more money at your existing job, there's that for you too. But there's other drivers that you can drive on the side, right? You can drive on the side that you can eventually make full-time, or you could stay in this model as well. These are all fine possibilities, but I want to explore those with you. So how do we get there? The way that we get there is by maximizing our skills. Skills are going to pay you wherever you go in the world. It is extremely important for you to maximize your skill and master your skills. That is going to be a component of this course. We're going to focus on making sure that you're always increasing your skills, which means studying skills daily. And we're going to focus on optimizing your work and study routines. We're also going to optimize your self-organization, and we're going to do that so that it aligns with your personal goals. And then, of course, you're going to produce high-quality, focused work daily. There's a lot to go over in this part, and that's going to be a huge component of some of the future lessons, but we're going to focus on how you can produce high-quality, focused, or sometimes referred to as deep work daily, but the system that we're going to go into is very specific. There's a lot to talk about in that. And communication. And we're going to learn how to communicate effectively to employers, coworkers, and the world about our skill sets and our productivity. Because you can be the most productive person with the best skills in the world, but if you don't communicate that effectively to others, then nobody's going to compensate you well and value you the way that you value yourself. So we're going to also focus on making more money and better job satisfaction and better self-satisfaction as well. Many of these topics, again, are future lessons of this course, and today's focus is going to be on maximizing our skills. So let's focus on optimal study. The reason I want to focus on this first is because you are studying this course, so I want to give you a practical study plan in this course for this lesson and as well as future lessons. So first of all, always remove distractions prior to learning anything. That means this course or any other study. Always remove distractions, and you want to deflect distractions during study. That means if you are in your course, this course, for example, and you just thought about how you had to text a friend. Don't text that friend right now during the middle of watching this video. Just grab a piece of paper like this and a pen and write it down really quickly. Write text message, and then continue learning. So that way you do those things after you finish and not during, because that'll just make you deflect yourself and you'll get so lost and you'll never complete a unit of work or a unit of study. So you always want to deflect distractions during your study, which just means having a piece of paper, a pad or pencil, or somewhere to just get it out of your head so you'll remember to do it later. And then you can forget about it and you can get it out of your mind. And then you can go back to your work or your study in this case. 20 to 45 minutes of focused study maximum. So there's a really important reason for this. The next part of it is that you also want to spend 5 to 15 minutes immediately after you finish studying to do reflection. This is going to help you index your mind mentally. So just like a computer, sometimes you've seen it like indexing your files. You need to index all this information that you just took in, so you want to reflect on it as well. Now, these numbers, they heavily correlate with a lot of the studies that have been done out there and how long a human can actually study consistently focused before it starts to become ineffective. So 20 to 45 minutes is the optimal time to spend focusing on studying for a period of time. That doesn't mean that you can't do multiple iterations of it, but you want to do 20-45-minute study with a 5 to 15-minute reflection, just to step away. Now, reflection means you think about it a little bit, or you just take time to take a break afterwards so that your mind can do what it does naturally. It's really a natural process. It doesn't involve you having to do any particular activity other than think about it a little bit. But that gives your brain time to basically make that long-term storage, as opposed to if you keep throwing more stuff at it, it'll just kind of wash it out of your brain, as opposed to making it a long-term study, long-term information in your brain. So again, that's based off of multiple studies. They're all a lot of sources have been done on this. A lot of research has been done, and that's a general range that works really well. And so get a timer, but not now. Deflect that. Just make it a note. So you just grab a piece of paper, you write down, get a timer, right? But you come back, you don't leave this course yet. That's a really bad habit. Anytime you're learning, anytime you're working, to actually just kind of, you go off task. And that's because you don't deflect your distractions, or that's when people don't distract their deflections. And I'm guilty of that too in the past. And it still happens today sometimes, but now I'm much better at deflecting distractions. Almost always consistent, but it doesn't mean that, something can't pop up. That nobody's perfect. And I just want to make that clear. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but you'll make a significantly better study routine when you remove distractions before you begin, you deflect distractions during, and you make it a concise unit of focused study. You basically allocate a certain amount of time that you have on a timer to do your study. And then you take some time to process that. And then, like I said, you can do these multiple times during the day, but make sure that you just have that reflection time. And then you can repeat this as many times as you want in a day. Studies show that 7 to 8 times repeating focus is very, very doable on a given day. I think even up to 11. But that's probably the next step in this equation. But we're actually going to dive into that a little bit more in future lessons about some of those topics. So in summary, commit to always learning. Skills pay you wherever you end up in life. So reclaim your power. Your ability to learn new skills is going to continue to pay you for the rest of your life. And it is your way to reclaim your power from your current employer and to reclaim that in your life. So this course, and my advice to you, is to spend every day studying a new or existing skill and relearning the things that you may have already learned. It's actually a really good thing to restudy some of the things that you may have already know, like a programming language that you already know, to just go rewatch some of the fundamentals, and that will actually re-solidify the concepts in your brain. So you should always be studying something, whatever that is. And for you right now, since you're in this course, it would be studying this course. Spend 20 to 45 minutes a day, focus study with 5 to 15 minutes of indexing. So I'm also going to structure all these lessons to fall within that framework so that you don't have to worry about that in this course. I am going to break them up in that framework for you. So that's taken care of. So you basically know what you're getting into each time you come into a lesson in this course. Productivity is directly linked to your income. We saw how productivity can lead to being a bigger gear in the framework of productivity in a business, and how that can actually allow you to escape your 9-to-5 and start your own full-time income from your own sources by being more productive and building things on the side and so on and so forth. We get into that even more in future lessons. So skills multiplied by productivity equals more value. That's why a component of this course, you will see how this all fits together in the future lessons too. You'll see how all this stuff is going to glue together even better. But just understand that's why we are focusing on always improving our skills. That whether that's a new skill, whether we're scaling horizontally or vertically in our skill sets, meaning that we're becoming more skilled in an existing skill set, or are we branching out and learning more skills and becoming more skilled in a larger number of tasks? But the more skills you have, multiplied by how productive you can be per session, is going to really increase your value. So commit 100% to finishing this course first using the above techniques that are listed here in the summary, and then apply this focused study strategy to other education, and whether that's courses, lessons, topics. And then up next, we're actually going to jump into, I'm going to show you an actionable and a simple productivity system. I don't want to waste your time. I want to give you something that has worked really well for me and I think is phenomenal, and it's going to help you be more productive today, right? It's not tomorrow, not the day after. As soon as you are able to implement it basically and you get in the flow of it, it's an actionable and simple productivity system that is going to help put everything we've talked about so far, as well as so much more to come, into a framework that is just going to allow you to just become a bigger gear driving a larger amount of gears in the chain of productivity. So your action item for this first lesson is to email me at info@productiveprogrammer.com with a list of what you want to learn and study, ordered by priority. So prioritize top to bottom. And this can be anything from soft skills, programming languages, frameworks, anything really. Just take action and do it. Again, the only thing I can't do for you is take an action. So if you want to take that first step to productivity and really dive in and get everything you can out of this course, then take action and email me with a list of things that you are planning to learn and study, ordered by priority top to bottom. I do take the time to read all of these, and I will reply to as many as I can unless there's some crazy amount. Most likely you'll hear from me. So go ahead and shoot me over the list of topics that you're interested in learning and studying next after this course. And then I'll see you over in the next lesson, where we'll go over a simple and actionable productivity system that you can implement immediately. But of course, take a little bit of time to index this lesson, and then I'll see you over in the next one.